Hello beautiful people, it is episode number 5 of 2021 of Hollywood Hills, and we are definitely clicking through the gears and getting moving along quite nicely, thank you very much. We've already been out there and filmed the first event of the season. That was last weekend for the Gxcs, and watch out because that's going to be coming out on the morning of the 13th of March. That's the same day we go Gxcc racing, so if you're a rock hopper out there, tune in to Ignition TV. I will be posting it out on my Facebook page and tell you exactly when those flight times are, but we now get ourselves ready for Gxcc racing, where we use all of the horsepower, all of the gears, and shred those tires because we're going out to Rustenburg. We look like it's going to be a nice mixture of a little bit of sand, a little bit of bush actually from some of the videos that I saw coming through, but we'll hold that back for now. It is all looking golden to go racing on the 13th at round number 1 of the Gxccs. Now you'll have seen me and the boys have been out there working with a couple of the teams. We have become the go-to guys for launching the teams, and we couldn't be happier with how we are being positioned within the media world and the motorsport world. We've all been out with Fredo and the factory Husky guys, but of course we've been building up to a couple of new squads, new teams and new colors, and that's where this week comes in. It is the official launch of the Pepson Plastics factory squad. The lean, green, mean machines. We caught up with Pepper and his boys out at Rhino Park this weekend. Check it out.
It started basically end of November last year, where I went to see KMSA with Kawasaki with Chris and Kibble, and said to them I want to put my own team together, and we're looking at running the Kawasaki's because they developed this new cross-country bike and it was winning at the GNCCs after COVID and lockdown stopped and they started racing. We haven't had Kawasaki in the country for about 8-9 years as a proper team on the grid or in pit lane in cross country and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it was like a new challenge. I wanted to run my own proper factory team. I'd been involved with the Husqvarna team for 4 years and really enjoyed every minute of that with everybody. But I wanted to sort of be a little bit more in control of what we do. On the senior side of things, the OR1 class, we were very lucky to get D'Artagnan Lopjoy involved with us. He's been in sort of limbo in Botswana last year because of lockdown, and his other ride never materialized. And when I spoke to him, I offered him the ride, and it's basically a full factory ride. So he took it with open arms, and what a lucky guy to be involved with his dad, his girlfriend who also races. So Dart is our number 1 rider in the OR1 class. Then we go to the next is OR3, is Taki Bogiagis. I think nobody needs to mention what Taki has done in his life before. He's come back from injury in the last 2 years, along with myself and Husqvarna and Fred and all of them. And he proved he won the last 2 rounds at the end of last year at the Gxccs convincingly, and he actually won overall at the last round.
Yeah, so it's a big change. Obviously, I've been on an Austrian bike for 8 years, so first time riding a Jap bike. A big change came about with Ian. I mean, he supported me full on from the day we started racing together. He's backed me 100%, and he gave me this offer, and we thought, let's try something new. We've got a great bike. I mean, when Ian chatted to Kawasaki, the bikes have been winning overseas, and we thought, well, with the opportunity here, if it's winning overseas, it's not for no reason. And we got the bikes at the start of this year, actually about 3 weeks ago. So I haven't had major time on the bike, probably about 10 hours, but from the get-go I was comfortable, and that was really, really cool. To get on a bike, feel comfortable, and yeah, just go out from there. So I found that I'm not getting tired on this bike, and I think that's a very, very nice thing to head into the season where you're in a place that you're not getting tired. And I think a big part about that is just the setup that the bike comes out standard with. I mean, all the bikes I've been working with guys to try to find the perfect setup, and there's no real perfect setup, you're always working towards something. And stock standard as this bike came out the box, that's how I'm riding it. I will be racing it next weekend. We've gone a bit harder on the clickers, but the bike corners really well, it's stable at high speed, and handles all the cautions really well. So I think suspension's a big part about my comfort on the bike. And then also just the motor. The motor's really strong, revs super high and pulls throughout that rev range. So I'm very interested and excited to see what it does in the race situation. It's one thing to say it's great out on the track, but racing's always a new situation. Challenges are out there, and yeah, excited to have them.
Coupled with him under Tucky's wing and our guidance and stuff, we've taken young Carl McKenzie, who, if you look at him now, he's not so small, but he's still young. He's only just turned 15. 2 years ago, he won the 85cc championship. Last year was on a 125 that didn't last too long. It kept seizing and stuff. So I felt for them, and he's got talent, so we offered them a ride, and we're going to build him up as a junior for future.
Yeah, super excited. There's going to be a lot of competition. Tucky is very fast. Going to be tough and hard to keep up with him, but it's going to be interesting. Got a lot of work to do. There's a good vibe in the team. Everyone's happy. It's like a ride on a Saturday. Everyone comes out and has a good time. It's nothing always too serious. Like there's times for when you do lap times, there's also times to just go have a good time, have a lot of fun out on the track.
So he's got D'Artagnan and Tucky to help them along the way, and he's actually got some very good speed. He can be right up at the front. Just got to calm him down a little bit and make him not fall off or not make mistakes, and he can be a winner towards the end of the season. And then you got Lee Thompson representing us in the senior class and myself in masters. We're there for the fun and promoting the brand. Lee does a lot of the development work on whatever we need to do on his background with the racing, and likewise with myself. Then further down the road we've got Craig Alcock that we've taken in. He started riding as our support team on Husqvarnas 2 years ago, and I've taken him along into the OR1 class. He's young, he's learning, and he's a nice guy to be around, and that's what we're about. He's like family orientated. And then of course we landed up within a week setting up 3 juniors to start the year with. We got young Jake Pretorius. Unfortunately he can't race for another 2-3 months, I think, because of his injury at the last Gxcc. He was going to be the guy that would take on and probably win us a 65cc championship. But in discussion with his mom and dad and that, and him as well, decided to put him on an 85, that when he does come back, there's no pressure this year to try and do anything. He can't win a 65 championship halfway through, so we get him ready for 85s next year. And then coupled with him in the 85s, we got Clayton Human. His first season in Gxcc racing, they did a bit of motocross last year at Motor Kids and stuff, and his younger brother Dylan on the 65. So we're all learning. Jake is going to be helping and coaching them because he's done it, he's a pro at it, and he, unfortunately, championship didn't happen this year, but next year watch out for them. Yeah, we're here for fun and bring another team back onto the grid. It'll be nice colours, and it's starting to grow. I mean, there's no stock left of the bikes that did come in. They're all gone from what we've started, and hopefully we can help promote Kawasaki, Motul, ourselves, riders and that, to get back onto green machines. It'll just be something nice to see, like the gas coming into Enduros and that. I think that's great that there's another colour there. So that's where we're going this year.
So that is another one of our factory squads, or factory supported squads. That is the Kawasaki's, and it's going to be so cool to see what these guys can do. Pepper's a player on the Masters. We've got all those juniors to work with. Taki going back to his roots on a 250, and of course, Dart. That's going to be an interesting story. And don't discount Mackenzie. I think he's going to be a real player on the 250 gate. That's the OR3s, which looks like it's going to be stacked this season as well. Talking about the 250 gate, it's time to get up close and personal and meet another one of our riders and their machines. And this time around, check this story out. A quaddie from birth, but he's always had like 1 foot on 2-wheelers as well. But I've always known this kid as a quad racer. This is Francious Smallburger Jnr. His dad has been a player on the quad scene for so many years. Junior, on his day, can run the numbers as well. He's been racing most of his life on the Q1s, but something happened to him. He got his wires crossed during lockdown, and he decided, I'm done with quads. I'm going to make the bold move across onto the motorbikes. And it was a clever decision as well, because it took him a little while to kind of get himself dialed in on his machine during the lockdown period, but it was good for him. A little bit of practice without pressure, racing, and as we saw at the end of last season with the last couple of rounds of the Gxccs and the last one round of the Farm Jams, he started to get good. He started to get his way onto the podium as well. He got a couple of top sixes, so he has tasted the podium, but he is now going into his first full season on the machine. He's got a ton of sponsors working with him as well, so nice to have. Obviously, Gravel Pit Motorcycles, Motul, he's got Elegant Fuels, Pirelli Rubber, Bikewise, and Steel and Pipes. So the kid's looking pretty factory at the moment. He's not running on the latest version of the machine though, so he may be a little bit down on horsepower for the factory guys that will get onto fresh machinery this year. He's still rocking one of the 2018 machines, so it's probably got a little bit of mileage, a little bit of hours on it, and I'll probably expect him to do an upgrade. I know they've done a full top-end rebuild in the off-season, so the bike should be fresh and nice, but of course, he's going up against 2021 machines as well. So might be a little bit down on horsepower, but I'm still expecting to see him challenge for podiums every single time he goes out there. He's clearly been putting in the work. He's got a real good setup. He's changed his body as well. I mean, he's got a little bit taller, a little bit leaner as well. So all these things that you have to adjust coming off quads and focusing on the bikes. But Baby Burger, little cheeseburger as we like to call him, is starting to become a fully fledged player. But he goes up against the might of the strong kids on the OR3 gate. You're talking about Stormy Phil Yoon. You've got so many riders out there to go up against. Brad Cox has moved up to the 350s. A couple of 250 riders have made the move up as well, but Matty Wilson is going to be there. There is so much depth of talent on the 250 gates. A lot of kids coming out of the high schools, and then a couple of kids who had their first taste of 250s last year getting good on these bikes. So that was our up close and personal. Not too much talk about the bike because he's pretty much left it stock. But Baby Burger, it's going to be fun to watch and see what Francois can do when we go out full-time racing. He's no doubt going to be clicking Farm Jams, a couple of the races up at the Africa Off-Roads, but his focus point is going to be Gxcc racing. That then gets us ready to talk about the Gxcc's. Rustenburg, the entries have been open now for just over a week. We're hoping that the numbers are going to be flying and we're going to see those classic old days where we go over 300 riders on the gate. We've got all the quads and juniors racing in the morning. We've got the bonies racing in the afternoon, and we have got the first race to look forward to. Me and the LiveX boys are going to be out there as always. I'll be barking down the mic on the day, and then we'll put a rock and roll production together for you guys. But that is Hollywood Hills, episode number 5. Watch out next week though, because we've got another team launch, if you can believe it. It's going to be the new CIT squad. And then after that, it's all eyes down on the prize as we start getting ready for the productions coming out of Gxcc round number 1. It's heating up, baby. Get ready. We're about to rip the bars off.